An interesting story begins to unfold about whether Trump and the United States military will kick off World War III. In the Caribbean, a strike force waits full of U.S. Navy vessels, personnel, and pilots prepared for action. The plan involves a full-scale invasion of Venezuela, reminiscent of Russia's actions before its move into Ukraine. For now, the U.S. sits waiting eyes focused on the political and strategic stakes involved. Trump and his administration claim that the main issue is drugs and gangs emanating from Venezuela. Trump complains loudly and calls for Maduro, the Venezuelan president, to be removed from power. He insists that the problem is primarily drug trafficking and violence in the region, they say. But Trump, in truth, is often dishonest, as the opioids fueling the crisis actually come from Mexico with chemicals traced back to China. So the question remains, why is Trump insisting it's about drugs? Like Putin's claim to be fighting Nazis in Ukraine, Trump's narrative may be a cover for something else entirely. In reality, the true motive seems linked to crude oil, which Venezuela sits on in massive reserves. Since the Bush W administration, the U.S. has lacked access to Venezuelan oil, especially after Chavez took control. Trump cannot openly admit that his real goal is to gain access to Venezuela's oil reserves as OPEC, and China would react fiercely. A declaration of war focused on oil would send gasoline prices skyrocketing overnight, halting global trade and economic growth. His war plans threaten to destabilize the entire region, causing chaos far beyond the Caribbean. If conflict erupts, the U.S. could end up being viewed as just another aggressor, similar to Russia's reputation. The soldiers and personnel involved might be spat on, or abandoned crying out for rescue from Trump's perceived tyranny. But who will step forward to oppose Trump and the military force he mobilizes? China, backed by Russia. India, Iran, North Korea, and many Spanish-speaking countries will likely push back strongly. Xi Jinping prepares for confrontation. And now the question is, are the United States truly ready for what lies ahead? The stakes are high, and the global balance of power hangs in the balance as this potential conflict looms. Will diplomacy prevail, or will this chaotic scenario escalate into full-blown war? Only time will tell whether Trump's ambitions will ignite a broader global conflict. The world watches anxiously, aware that the decisions made in the coming days could shape history. Amidst the tension, leaders from around the world ponder their next moves, hoping to avoid catastrophe. In the end, the future remains uncertain as alliances are tested and nations prepare for the worst. One thing is certain, this story is far from over and the consequences could be catastrophic.